full tactical analysis, using the back of the brick wall as a temporary map. Validus was impressed with the captain's assessment and filed that information for future use. His mind began to race through the options, evaluating threats, advantages, and possible outcomes. He had only moments to respond. The fallen were coming fast. Validus was angry with himself for underestimating the resolve of Bavat, the fallen's North American Continental commander, to stop their attempt to set up a pregnancy crisis counseling center for young women just 2 blocks away from a planned pregnancy clinic. Guilt, shame, and emotional trauma were powerful weapons in Apollyon's hands. The destroyer always robbed. He stole joy, peace, relationships, and ultimately life. The enemy's destruction left traumatized and despairing souls in its wake, souls who yearned for love, healing, and forgiveness, exactly what the counseling center was hoping to offer. The battle was fierce and relentless, a battle at the heart of the spiritual war for families. Validus should have anticipated this kind of response from the fallen, but this was not the time for self-retribution. This was the time for action. One thing was sure, Captain D'Artagnan was right. They couldn't both keep the ground and try to save Commander Gregan and his men. Captain, move 1 unit to this line, 1 here, and the remaining 3 centuries here. Validus pointed to a pawn shop and 2 other buildings surrounding the proposed site of the counseling center. When they are in position, meet me 1 block south of the restaurant with 2 of your best detachments. Tell the unit commanders that as soon as they are in position, they will attack from the north to regain the ground for the counseling center. But sir, we won't stand a chance against an entire legion. All we need is a 2-minute distraction. As soon as we've recovered Gregan, tell them to pull back. D'Artagnan nodded. A decoy? Yes. What of the counseling center? Validus couldn't hide his disappointment, but it was as much his fault as any other's. He looked at D'Artagnan with fierce eyes. Go, Captain. As D'Artagnan passed the orders and prepared the men, Validus, Arn, and Britt circled away and into position behind a house just 1 block south of the restaurant where Gregan and his men were trapped. Validus could hear the fierce battle cries of desperate warriors and found it difficult to wait for D'Artagnan. He wanted to rush into battle before another warrior had fallen. Keep a lookout south and east, he told Arn and Britt. I need to get a better view of the fight. Both warriors took up positions on the corners of the house as he jumped to the roof and peered over its peak to get a tactical view of what they would soon be facing. He estimated over 300 fallen were attacking Gregan. The angels were surrounded and fighting for their lives with no access to retreat. Come on, D'Artagnan. Hurry, he whispered. 2 long minutes later, D'Artagnan arrived with 30 capable warriors. Validus jumped down to talk to them. The solid faces of the warriors assured Validus that D'Artagnan had chosen well. Get ready, men. This won't be easy. We'll have 2 minutes to extract Commander Gregan and his men. I want suppressing fire until we get within 30 yards, then swords until we can break open a line for our warriors to escape. Keep a tight cover. 10 seconds passed, and then the sound of an all-out war erupted in gunfire and clashing swords at the counseling center just to the north of them, as 2,200 warriors charged Bavat's legion of nearly 5,000 fallen. D'Artagnan looked at Validus, but he held up his hand, holding them in position. Validus watched as a third of the fallen attacking Gregan left to reinforce the battle to the north. Now, Validus ordered. 34 powerful vessels of Elohim sprinted across 4 lanes of traffic, using cars and buses as temporary cover in their assault. At first, the fallen didn't realize what was happening because the sound of the larger battle to the north swallowed the sound of their attack. That changed when over 40 fallen warriors collapsed under gunfire and dissolved into a green vapor that fell into the heart of the earth. By the time the fallen could react, Validus and his men were on them with swords, flashing in the humid heat of a Texan spring day. D'Artagnan and his men fought like the warriors of old they were, sending 100 fallen to the abyss in short order. Validus heard the commanding fallen warrior call for reinforcements from the north. Time was short. Validus could see Gregan and 9 of his warriors fighting for their lives through the large glass windows of the restaurant. An opening appeared in the line of the fallen's defenses, and Validus took it, cutting through 2 enemy warriors to complete the breach. Arn and Britt stayed close, refusing to leave